If you've been on the internet long enough, you've probably seen a clip that goes a little something like this.
First of all, Lisa, do you consent to a second date?
Do I have a last question that I can ask?
Sure.
Okay, plot twist.
This is Lisa, a contestant on the Date Night podcast where she's being asked if she wants to go on a second date. Before she says yes or no to going on that second date with this contestant, she decides she has one more question. That question happens to be...
It's like bonus rounds.
Who did you vote for?
And I need you to pay attention in the background. She asked, "Who did you vote for?" And it was all women behind her screaming. All women behind her going, "Yeah, good question. Good answer. Naked grandma." And now I'm bashful. So awkward if you guys aren't on Ashby Talk. I made a reference you might not get. And now I'm bashful. Everybody say, "Don't be bashful, Max." I didn't know. I was bashful. God, that's going to be so awkward if you guys don't get the reference. Maybe I'm just too Gen Z coded. But she asked who she voted for. The women behind her erupt. And how do you think he responded?
I voted for the Trump cabinet. But with that comes a lot of things.
Heart is broken. I enjoyed my evening with you, but I have to stick to my morals and my principles. And democracy.
Good for her. Regardless of what it is that she believes in, she says, "I want to date someone with similar values and beliefs." And shouldn't everyone want to? When Leah and I started dating, I said, "I don't want kids." She said, "Okay." If she had said, "Actually, I want 15, it would never have worked out. If I was a devout Catholic and I wanted to raise my children deeply within the religion and my wife had to be a part of that, and Lee didn't want to be a part of that." Hi everyone, Editor Max here. I'm not really sure what happened, but there's a couple of times in this video where my audio gets a little weird. I tried to work around it as much as I could. There were complete sections I had to just cut out, and so this video is a lot shorter than I wanted it to be. There's going to be a few times where my voice either cuts out or sounds robotic, and I'm really sorry about that. Hopefully it is fixed by now and doesn't affect any other future videos. If you watched any of my videos, it's not a surprise what I believe in. I'm very vocal on my beliefs, big supporter of human rights, very anti-Trump, not a surprise. But let's say I was the exact opposite. Let's say I was someone who voted for Trump for, I want to sit here and be like, here are the reasons why, but I genuinely can't think of any good ones. Like, unless you're a multi-billionaire, definitely afraid of being taxed. Sure. But it seems to be mostly a bunch of men, single and lonely, making $32,000 a year, calling immigrants doctors and engineers while working a job where they talk down to the other people who work there because they do Forex on the side. Yeah, I traded USD for Canadian today, you know. I'm making money. No. You should be embarrassed to work at Walgreens. You're 26 and you're old. I'm 45 and a future millionaire, all right? I worked at Walgreens for a year in college. It was actually probably the best job I had while in college that wasn't on campus. This clip is not the topic of today's video, but there's one small part about it I do want to talk about before we move on. She says no to a second date, and the host asks him if he's surprised, and he says, "No, all three of them seem to be like on the other side of things. If you put me in a room with my dating prospects, and all of them have different values and beliefs than I do, I am actually probably going to start questioning my values and beliefs. There's a lot of introspection I would like to believe would happen before I just start lying about who it is that I am. But I guess what's easier? Realizing that women, immigrants, minorities are people and deserve basic human rights, or lying about it to get women to sleep with me. And unfortunately, lying is actually probably just a lot easier. I've said it before, I would like to believe I don't have any like bad, problematic beliefs or ideas. But if I did, I'd probably just lie about it. If I was one of those like Mexicans who's like anti-Mexican for some reason, and there's so many of them, I would probably just lie about it. Bad person if people don't know that I have bad ideas. If I speak for the trees and they say a slur, is that their fault or mine? That's also an Ashby reference. I'm so sorry if you're not like chronically on TikTok right now. I am. All right, I'm a sad person. I lie down in that bed for days and just scroll TikTok. That's all I've been doing for the last 5-6 days. Have not moved. Walk, toast, come back, TikTok. Anyway, today we're meeting a TikTok creator by the name of Kelly Mac J, and they're going to share their experience where they dated someone who said they were moderate. Someone who said, you know, I'm kind of like in the middle of things, just to stay in her life. Later on, the truth comes out, doesn't work out. We'll get there.
I believe more young men are lying in dating about who they voted for. And I believe this because this happened to me. Quick preference that if you are someone who doesn't care about politics and that you would date someone on either side, that's great. That's your journey. I'm someone who's dating with intention, and I want to date someone whose values and morals align with my own. And I would rather be single than end up with someone whose values don't align with my own.
A couple of things there. I would also like to be with someone whose values align with mine. Like my long-term girlfriend now is a white woman. If when we started dating, I was like, you know, like Mexicans are people too. And she was like, I hate minorities. Probably would not have worked out. If there's an accidental pregnancy, we're both aligned on what we want to do. And being able to look at someone and say women deserve to have autonomy over their body shouldn't be a hot take. There are things you have to compromise on. I don't like cheesecake. She does. Big cheesecake girly. One of our biggest disagreements. I don't want to keep sugar in the house. She does. So now I consume a lot of sugar. But when it comes to who it is you are as a person, hopefully non-performative. The worst part about being a content creator is meeting people who aren't real people. I've met so many people online who believe one thing very, very loudly. In person, don't actually care. The thing I don't get as a conservative or as a moderate, right, which is just you trying to conceal the fact that you're conservative. What I don't understand is why you want to date people who don't align with your values. And the worst part about me is my inability to focus, because all I do is make references to other things I've seen that are not at all contained within this video. And welcome to Plathville, right? Sorry, I got a new chessboard. And so I'm just like playing with the box. It's really cool. Do I have ADHD? It rolls up. And so like all the pieces don't touch, magnetic. I like, this is really, really cool. Ventureboard, if you want to sponsor me, hit me up. But like, this is going on the plane with me. Sorry, it's going to happen again. So in Welcome to Plathville, it's a reality TV show centered around a family with 10 kids. We're all super white, conservative Christian. That's all you need to know. Olivia, an outsider, marries Ethan, the oldest son. In the very first episode, that's how we start. And the first season, and even the first few, are really centered around their relationship. On the show, Ethan is made to seem like a really cool guy. A good person who is just incapable of showing his emotions. Incapable of understanding why something is right or wrong, but is willing to do what he is told is right. 5 years later, we have Olivia on TikTok posting videos of him berating her. And some of it is just disgusting. Some of it is him seeing massacres happening and going, good, it's about time somebody did something about those LGBTQs. And so now we have these people who are very much different in their opinions on human rights. Olivia trying to salvage a marriage with the person she thought Ethan was. And eventually they split up, they divorce, and on the show, Ethan just looks like a normal guy going through a hard time. But Olivia left because of their differences in values. On the show, he constantly talks about how she's changed and he hasn't. And Olivia has to go, what do you mean, dude? I've always been this person. You're the one that's changed. I have videos. And we didn't know what that meant until she started posting them. He went from this quiet, seemingly attempting to be a good person husband who was willing to defend her from his family to someone saying, I'd rather my son die than think he was a girl. It's about time someone did something about them. When talking about people having their lives taken from them, these are entirely different ways to go about life, to view other people's lives. I don't know how you're supposed to get along with each other, let alone date and get married and have children who are going to be raised to believe what? Like Ethan said, he doesn't want kids being taught that boys can be girls. For some reason, he was really, really fixed on trans issues. And Olivia said, let them be children. Let them ask questions.
Anyway, so I was dating this guy. First day, I make it clear that I'm liberal. Couldn't really get a sense of where he was landing, which honestly should have been a yellow flag. But anyways, second day, I decided to be more intentional about it and just directly ask him, like, are you politically involved? And he said, not as much as I want to be, but I am more moderate, but I voted for Kamala. And I said, great. And then from that, I figured we would get to know each other's politics throughout the course of a natural dating. I don't need to go through every single belief of mine and make sure that we're aligned on the second day.
I'm going to spoil this next part for you. If you didn't get it from the way this video has gone, he lied. And I don't know why. If you were lying about the thing that is going to be the reason your relationship doesn't work, and the other person is just going to find out anyway, yeah, I lied about who I was completely, but now that you know who I am, I can start being myself around you. Glad we got that out of the way. Haha. Anyway, don't you think that you making 75 cents for every dollar I make is too much? That's not fair. I'm only left with 25 cents. That's a Bo Burnham joke because I have no attention span. Again, everything's just a reference to something else that I've watched. I'm currently watching Happily Ever After, 90 Day Fiancé, and I'm at the point where Adnan, this 22-year-old man, and Tiger Lily have just had their kid. And now that they've had their kid, and Adnan knows they're stuck together, Adnan, who for years has been saying, you don't have to convert to Islam, I'm cool with you being Christian. As long as we raise our child in my religion, Surprised he lied. He's like, well, now that you're having my kid, I don't want you to go to hell. So you have to be a Muslim. It's the only way. And he's being very, very aggressive about it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, how do you go from lying about being 6 feet tall when you're 5'7" to lying about whether or not you think women deserve rights?
Anyways, over the next like 2 months, we are dating, and we did have more political conversations. And while he didn't seem like as politically informed as me, like that's okay. It definitely did seem he leaned more left during these conversations. Anyways, after 2 months, he asked me to be exclusive on a Wednesday, and I say, yes, this is going really well. He's been a really nice guy. Like, I'm not in love with him yet, but he's a nice guy.
I think a few people are going to stop listening there and go, he was a nice guy, so what's the problem? He was a nice guy under a lie the whole time. I could be nice to you and lie about it the entire time. I can go up to you and say, that shirt looks really good on you. That's a nice thing to say, but it's a lie. No, I don't think it's weird that you feel the need to wear height boosters. Looking 5'9" makes you a lot more attractive than 5'7". It's like half the Catfish episodes where they meet someone who is not at all who they said they were. And then the person who like went to meet them is like, I liked you. You could have just been yourself and we maybe would have had something. And they go, no, you wouldn't have loved me if I didn't pretend to be a multi-millionaire. No, you wouldn't have loved me if I told you my Labubus were fake. They're Lafufus. You only like me because I'm in this Lorax costume. You don't like what's underneath.
Okay, and then Thursday rolls around, whatever, nothing happens. Friday morning, I just send him good morning, and then he says good morning and sends me this long message, and it has him saying, I've not been honest with you about who I align with politically, which, first of all, you're not even an adult enough to have this conversation face to face, and we had multiple conversations about politics, like I said, so it wasn't just like a one time and done and I've ignored it. Like, you were not just lying to me once, like you were consistently lying to me, which is just so crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Like, you're willing to lie to this person's face over and over and over again, but when you finally want to tell the truth, you have to do it over text. It gives me the energy of like being in middle school and texting a girl and saying, if someone was going to ask you out, how would you want them to do that? Oh, thanks. Ha ha ha. I was just like, like there's a girl at school I think is pretty. So I'm just like asking for advice. It was you, by the way. Like I send congrats, now you're a liar and a bad communicator.
And basically in this message, he does apologize for it eventually, but he's also saying like, I just really liked you and I just like really wanted you like to get to know me more, and basically saying like, now that we're exclusive and now that we've been like seeing each other for 2 months, that I know his heart better and that I should be able to like maybe look past this. He did say like, I understand if you can't though, and I obviously, first of all, I was like, so what did you lie about? And he's like, I voted for Trump. And I said, cool.
You wasted 2 months just lying to her. All women are the same, bro. They're all gross. They want you to tell them the truth. When you do, they leave you. That's why we have to lie to them. They can't know the truth. Head up, King. You're a future millionaire. Anyway, are my pictures done? This whole time he was working at like the picture center at Walgreens. They would hit the button and I'd walk over and I'd be like, what's the last name on that? And they'd tell me the last name and I'd go, oh, you're the old lady who printed out naked pictures of herself. Don't do that. I had to see that. I made all my managers see that because if I had to, they had to too. Don't do that. That happened twice. And both times, they were old ladies. Why would you have anyone print out naked pictures of yourself? That's so weird. Also, I'm going to forget, this video is not sponsored, but I do have to say something for a minute. At the end of August, towards the end of September, a group of friends get together to raise money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Last year at this time, I wasn't really making YouTube videos, so I did it on Twitch, and everyone else involved is a Twitch streamer. I think I'm the only YouTuber. It's called Team Never Winless. There's a team goal of $25,000. Last year, together, everyone raised around $15K, with about $1,800 already raised. I have a personal goal of $250, and every $50 I will make Lee make an entire video with me. It'll go up on this channel when I'm at her house next month, and if we manage to get the $300, when I get back from Lee's house, I will shave my entire face. For everyone who's always like, what's up with the mustache, bro? You were born with a cleft palate, bro? Skill issue, dude. Fine, I'll shave. I'll do it. If we get to $300. If 10% of the people who watch this video each donate $1, we'll get there. So every $50, Lee has to make a video with me. You'll get to see us both do commentary. And at 300, I'll shave my entire face. I'll put a link to that in the description and as a pinned comment. Do not feel obligated at all to donate. It's cool if you do. And feel free to skip this little section in every video from now until the end of September. Or until we hit the goal.
And I said, I'm not interested in pursuing this any further. Like, and he also said, like, you made so clear from the beginning that you wanted someone whose values align with your own. And I'm sorry for lying. And I was like, cool.
We can agree that lying to your partner for 2 months, just to try and get them to trust you, was wrong. And regardless of what side you're on, if you found out that your entire relationship was not only built on a lie, but a continuous one, you'd probably want to break up with your partner. I know I would. If you have to lie about your beliefs to get the women that you're attracted to date you, either change your beliefs or start dating women who share those beliefs. There's no shortage of conservative women. Every time I make a video about incels, there's always some conservative right-wing guy going, whatever, liberal women weekly anyway. Cool. Date conservative women. Caitlyn Bennett is somewhere with literal in her pants somewhere. Go get her. Max, I don't want Caitlyn Bennett. They don't know how to wipe hers. Oh, you're so right. Sorry. My bad, G. I don't know. You could pretend to be really, really into religion. Say, I'm not having sex until marriage. Talk about how you don't actually need women. Meet one that maybe kind of likes you and marry her after a month so that you can start having sex with her, and then she leaves you in a few years when she realizes who you actually are. You could do that. I'm David Hammond, and women are only making your life worse. So it's been 2 months since I made that video, and I'm married now. Yeah, congrats, dude.
And I said, I'm not interested in pursuing this any further. Like, not only do your values not match with mine, but also even more so, you lied about this. So clearly our values just don't align at all. And it was really annoying because it wasted 2 months of both of our lives. It wasted dates that we went on. It wasted money, mostly his money, but like my money too. And it was just a really frustrating experience because like I had been so clear and steadfast. And also the fact that he thought that I was going to like give up my values because I liked him so much after 2 months of dating. No, my values are rooted stronger than that. Like, hello, I, again, would rather be alone for the rest of my life than date someone whose values and morals don't align with my own. Because what's the point of dating and marrying someone who you don't even share values with?
Good for her. This is anecdotal, obviously. I think most of the things I say are. I know a lot of men who are more than willing to ignore or change their values for the attention of women. Probably the wrong way to go about things. I would not be able to date a conservative woman. I just would not be able to. We're just too different. And even things that like wouldn't end up applying to us, right? Like I don't want kids, period. So there shouldn't be a moment where we have to like deal with whether or not we want to keep one. Also, don't go outside so we don't have to get into that fight that all of them seem to get into about strip clubs. How does that always happen? I don't have parents, so no one I ever date has to ever, worry about whether or not they align politically with them. But I just wouldn't be able to do it, dude. Like the second I see you go, oh, did you see how Trump survived that attempt? He's a hero. America. Like I'm just puking. Also, how would you even like me as a person? Neither of my parents are born in this country and you want to get rid of birthright citizenship. So how would I in any way be able to date anyone who, whether or not they believe in this one specific thing, voted for the possibility of having me deported? That doesn't make sense. It's not always about, oh, I agree and I disagree with all of these very specific political takes. It is much more about who you ended up spending your vote on. To support someone like that is to support all their ideas, whether or not you agree with them. It goes back to the whole J.K. Rowling thing, where J.K. Rowling was going on transphobic rants on Twitter, and people were like, damn, she sucks, but I still like Harry Potter, so I'm still going to buy Harry Potter stuff. But I don't agree with her. Sure. But then she tweets something like, how do you sleep at night knowing you've lost a whole audience from buying your books? I read my most recent royalty checks and find the pain goes away pretty quickly. So even if you disagree with her takes on transphobia or all the casual racism, when you spend money on her, and she receives a check because of it, you are funding her ideas and beliefs. And she doesn't read your tweets. She doesn't care. She just knows that, oh, this many people bought it. Here's the amount of money I made. Obviously, these people agree with me. So, oh, I voted for Trump, but like, I'm not racist. You're supporting one. If you're supporting racism, homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, it's going to be pretty hard for you to convince me that you're not those things. And if you're going to be one of the few people who comment, well, actually, I've never seen him being racist. I just don't pay attention. Like you, brother, Google's free. Google's absolutely free. I'm not your Google. It is so much faster for you to type that into Google and prove yourself wrong than it is to comment in my comment section. I'm not going to waste my time. Back to having an attention span.
But anyways, it was a really frustrating experience, but I don't think I'm the only woman who's experienced this. I think that a lot more young women are coming into the fact that, and maybe young men, I can't speak for their experience, that people are lying about this because they know that it might be important to someone else, which is just crazy because, again, we could have both saved ourselves like a lot of time. I wouldn't have thrown my drink in his face if he was like, yeah, I voted for Trump. I'd be like, cool. And then I would have like ended the date politely and then we would have gone on our own separate ways, but he had to waste 2 months of my life and it was really annoying. But anyways.
I have a friend of mine, and I hope to God he doesn't see this video. I have a friend of mine who does this. He says he's a moderate, but the thing is he's a little dumb. So when he says he's a moderate, he actually believes he's a moderate. Like he doesn't want to align with one side, even though, and I had to ask, right, because these are my friends, even though his beliefs on people align with human rights. He believes in like the left side of talking points without wanting to label himself, I guess. He goes on a lot of first dates, and every time he has told me about one, he says that the person that he's on the date with either agrees with him or goes, yeah, it's not like a big thing. But then there's never a second date. I've known this man for almost 2 years now, and I've never seen the man go on a second date. And I just wish I could see what was happening. I wish I could just like sit at a table next to him, just disguised incognito, no mustache, just, oh, who's that? I want to know what's going on. Because I can't ask him. If I ask him, he's like, oh, it's because I'm 5'7". Oh, it's because they're moving. Oh, you know what happened? Middle of the day, she got a call from her brother. Her entire family just got blown up. She had to go. Like, I want to know so bad. Maybe it's because he's bad at chess. Anyway, I think the entire video here could be summed up with, maybe don't lie about who it is that you are as a person and all of your beliefs and your values before you start dating someone. If you have to lie to someone to get them to pay attention to you, if you have to lie to someone to get them to go out with you, and then months later you decide to tell them the truth, you're not a good person. You were a liar the whole time. And I think there's going to be a few different sections of people who comment on this video, and they won't get far enough to hear this, but you should be honest about who it is that you are, what it is that you want, and who it is that you want. And you're going to get plenty of no's, but isn't that kind of a good thing? Like, don't you want the people who don't align with your values to not date you? Like, are you dating because it's convenient to be in a relationship? I'm someone who has a lot of thoughts, ideas, wants, needs, and I'm very, very open about them. And when Leah and I first started talking, more than just friends, I was like, here's everything about me. Everything. Here's everything. Here's everything. Maybe I forgot a few things that I realized later, but here's everything about me. And we aligned pretty well, which is dope. I would not have lied about it just to keep her around. She would have deserved better. If not better, different. The comments on this TikTok kind of just say, why don't conservatives just date conservatives? I don't understand why conservatives want liberals so bad. Like, there's nothing wrong with dating someone who has similar values as you. That's kind of, I think, what you should be looking for. And you're not short on women. Anytime there's like a Trump rally and people go to make fun of them, there's always some woman that's like, we can't have a woman president. They're all going to start wars. Females don't know how to lead. No country has a female president. I don't care that she's a woman. I just don't like that she's not white. Anyway, I'm going to cut it there before I develop a real country accent. Thank you all for spending time with me. This is my favorite thing to do. You're my favorite people to do it with. Host was here for like the hour before I actually started recording, and then she left. Why did she leave? Because I was lying to her. I'm actually a conservative dad. You better not start dating and bring a chihuahua into my house. All right, that's it. Donate to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention if you have the means to. Don't worry about it if you don't. Every $50, you will get a new video out of me and Lee. And at 300, I'll shave my entire face. Which, I'm not super excited about, but like, my facial hair grows back pretty quick, so all deal. All right, see y'all soon. Get out of here. Goodbye. I speak for the trees. If you haven't been watching Aspie compilations on TikTok, that's where I'm at, dude. The one where she's like an IUD gets me every time. It kills me. Or, I did not have sexual relations with that tree. I had it with that one. It kills me.